What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another classic movie review. I've talked about a lot of great classic movies, and this just continues in the classic movie genre of films that I have not seen. Many people put this as one of the greatest films ever made, or a majority of people say it is the greatest movie ever made, and that is The Godfather. This movie came out in 1972, was directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and the cast of this movie was absolutely insane. You got Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, James Caan. If you guys are new here, feel free to click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. So I'm just going to throw out a massive spoiler warning to you guys. If you have not seen The Godfather, what are you doing? This is one of the greatest movies ever made. I'm going to be spoiling some certain plot points that happen in this movie. Just warning you up front. The Godfather centers on a story of different mob bosses and families, including the Corleone family. You got Vito Corleone, or Don Corleone, played by Marlon Brando, and he has a massive family of people. You got Michael Corleone, played by Al Pacino, Sonny Corleone, played by James Caan, and many other actors involved, and it's just a battle of wits between different mob families. This movie changed the game in filmmaking. It was a pop culture phenomenon. Many phenomenal filmmakers today, like Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, James Mangold, so many iconic directors have taken inspiration from The Godfather. Then we had The Godfather 2 and 3, which have also had an iconic staple in cinema. The third one, not so much. But these are just films I haven't dived into yet, and I've always wanted to, but just finding the right time to do it. And I felt like now was the right time to do it. What were my thoughts overall on The Godfather? I'm sure you guys are wondering my thoughts on this movie. Did it live up to the hype? Was it disappointing, not as great as everyone says it is, or is it a masterpiece like everyone says it is? I can proudly say to you guys, this movie lived up to the hype. Plus. And I was very worried going into this movie, because usually when you have people say it's one of the greatest movies ever made, flawless, and revolutionized cinema, sometimes you can walk in disappointed and it cannot live up to the hype for you. This movie lived up to every single expectation. I was just floored from start to finish from the whole 3-hour runtime. The best part about The Godfather is just the story. The whole story surrounding this film about mob bosses, families, tragedy, weddings, growing up. Like, this movie explores all these aspects incredibly well. And it's Francis Ford Coppola's vision. The opening 30 minutes of this movie is just this wedding. And it just looks incredible. Like, all the set designs, the people surrounding it. It feels like you're a part of this mob boss family. And just exploring what the life is, being in the criminal mastermind in the mafia world. Then we see many churches. We see buildings, we see streets. You feel like you're in the 70s. I am just blown away with the production design for this movie. And the iconic performances from a majority of people in this film, starting with Marlon Brando as Vito Corleone, one of the most iconic characters in cinema history. Marlon Brando, he won the Oscar for this movie, but he declined it. It's one of the most iconic moments in Oscar history. And Marlon Brando is just immaculate in this film. You know, the cotton mouth, you know, Vito Corleone, you know, I can have sympathy for you. I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. The thing I love the most about this character is just the sympathy that I felt for him. Just the tragedy he felt with his family. He's a family man first. And the death of his son, Sonny. Just one of the most heart-wrenching scenes in the film. He's like, look how they massacred my boy. I don't want his mother to see this. Like, it is just heartbreaking acting from Marlon Brando. And then the whole story shifts when Vito Corleone is shot in an alleyway. And then the whole storyline changes like that. And then we focus on Al Pacino's character, Michael Corleone. A character that is very complex, and Al Pacino, my God, he is phenomenal in here. The advantages and the risks he takes for this character and becoming his father, taking over his role, and just all the limitations this character goes through. And he does not hesitate with any decision he makes in this film. James Caan as Sonny Corleone was a huge scene stealer for me. Really loved his character in here. Unfortunately, we'll get to a moment with him very soon, but my favorite scene of him by far is when he goes to beat the crap out of the husband of his sister. It is just great right there. And then he obviously gets gunned down to death by a different mob boss family, gets betrayed. I was just shocked when I saw that scene. I'm like, oh my God. I obviously thought he was going to kill the husband, and then it just hits you like that. It punches you in the gut. Like, it's something that you're not expecting. Many things I predicted throughout the whole entire movie, I was wrong. Like, it just like, pay attention, you're wrong. Just watch it for yourself. Like, it felt like Francis Ford Coppola was talking to me, like, watch the film I'm making, you're wrong. This movie does not focus mainly on the mob boss stuff. Like, you're pretty much expecting a lot of action and gangster stuff, a lot of death sequences. But no, it really focuses on family. This is a very Italian family movie. This is the most Italian film I have ever seen in my life. And it really depicts that well. You get to see a lot of scenes of them eating, dancing, a lot of weddings in this movie, and funerals as well. The most iconic, Vito Corleone's funeral, when he dies, like, that is just a really heartbreaking death, and I love the way it was portrayed in there. With the young son of Al Pacino's character, Michael, it's just realistic stuff, and just, it makes you feel like you're in the real world, experiencing these tragic events. There's a lot of consequences for the Godfather. There's always bad stuff happening left, right, and center. Whenever you're entered into the mob world, you obviously know there's going to be consequences to your actions. Especially with the death of many family members and Michael's lovers. It's just groundbreaking stuff involved. And the score plays a huge factor as well. The iconic trumpet theme that plays in the beginning and throughout the film. It's just a slow transition of just triumph and just sadness throughout. The Godfather, it's a very sad movie all around, but a very iconic one to say the least. And if you're going into this movie worried about the runtime being 3 hours long, Godfather 2 being over 3 hours long, definitely do not be concerned, because these are excellent filmmaking. The pacing is excellent. You will not feel like you're watching a 3 hour long movie, because the pacing works extremely well. Did not feel that runtime, in complete honesty. Before I give you guys my final overall thoughts on The Godfather, if this is your guys' first time checking out the channel and you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on this classic, hit that like button. And if you want to see more content from me, consider clicking that subscribe button, because I do tons of classic reviews like this. I do new movie reviews, ranking videos, Blu-ray videos at the end of the month. And I do a podcast called the Fallen for Film Podcast, where me and my co-host Colin Williams dive into the newest trends in movie news, have guests on from time to time, and just have a blast talking movies. Talk tons of movie content, and the best thing is I do this on a weekly basis. The Godfather is a masterpiece. It lived up to all the hype plus. This is one of the greatest films ever made. I was floored from start to finish. Constant rewatches. This will skyrocket in one of my favorite movies of all time. I can't wait to watch The Godfather Part 2 and do that review, because this movie was a transcendent experience, and if you have not seen this movie, what are you doing with your life? You all know it's coming. The Godfather gets an A+. There you have it, guys. That is my thoughts on The Godfather. Let me know your thoughts below. Do you love it like me? Think it's overrated? You absolutely hate it? Let me know down below in the comments. I got some other cool videos dropping this week. Look forward to that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. All my social media links are in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.